Hello and welcome to IndoDiveX, a podcast about diving, ocean stories, and the incredible underwater world of Indonesia.
I'm Kai.
And I'm Mia.
In this podcast, we explore marine life, diving adventures, and the magic of the Coral Triangle.
Oh, Kai, I am so hyped for today's episode. We are talking about the wild child of Indonesian diving, Komodo National Park, specifically what it actually feels like to be caught in those legendary, heart-pumping currents.
Wild child is the perfect way to put it. Diving in Komodo is often described as flying underwater, but for a lot of people, it's more like being in a high-speed chase or a washing machine.
It really is. I was reading a blog from a diver who said being in the shotgun current felt like standing in the bed of a pickup truck doing 160 kilometers per hour on a highway. Can you imagine? Your regulator hoses are buzzing from the water tearing at them, and your bubbles don't even go up. They get blown straight behind you like smoke in a hurricane.
It's total adrenaline. But before we get into the crazy stories, we should probably explain why this happens. It's not just random water movement. It's a massive geographic event called the Indonesian Throughflow.
Right. It's like a giant natural funnel. Because of the trade winds, the Pacific Ocean to the north is actually about 30 centimeters higher than the Indian Ocean to the south. All that water has to go somewhere, so it rushes through the narrow straits of the Indonesian archipelago, especially the Linta Strait in Komodo.
And the volume is just mind-blowing. Scientists use a unit called a sverdrup to measure it. One sverdrup is 1 million cubic meters of water per second. To put that in perspective, the flow through Indonesia is about 15 sverdrups. That is like 15,000 rivers, each 100 meters wide, flowing all at once.
No wonder it feels like a fire hose. That's why the dive briefings in Komodo are so intense. You'll often hear guides say, get ready for the strongest currents you've ever been in. And they usually mention the negative entry.
Oh, I remember my first negative entry. You have to roll off the boat with no air in your BCD and fin straight down immediately. If you linger at the surface for even a few seconds, the current will sweep you away from the dive site before you even start.
It's a bit of a combat landing for divers, but once you're down there, you get to see the real magic. One of the most famous spots is the cauldron, or the shotgun. You start in a deceptively calm, sandy bowl, but then you hit the wall, where the current gets squeezed. One diver's computer was actually beeping with fast ascent alarms because the water pushed them up 25 meters per minute.
It's a batshit crazy ride, but then you get spat out into a pristine reef they call the China Shop. But my favorite way to handle the current is using a reef hook. It's like an underwater parking brake.
I love the reef hook. You find a piece of dead rock or a hole in the sand, never the living coral, and you just hook in and float like a kite. It turns a stressful current into a front row seat at a theater. At sites like Castle Rock, you just hook in and watch the shark show. Gray reef sharks, white tips, and giant trevally just patrolling the flow like it's a walk in the park.
It's true. While we're breathing hard and hanging on, the sharks are just gliding effortlessly. And it's not always about high speed. There's Manta Point or Karang Makassar. That's more like a pleasant walk underwater. You just drift along a rubble bottom and watch these giant mantas hovering over cleaning stations while tiny fish pick off their parasites.
It's so meditative. One diver mentioned they spent 15 minutes just tethered to their reef hook, watching a manta dance in the flow. It's that contrast, the raw power of the current bringing in all those nutrients, and then these graceful giants just enjoying the protein shake the ocean provides.
It really makes you respect the ocean's power. But for anyone listening who wants to go, remember that Komodo is generally for intermediate or advanced divers. You need to be physically prepared, hydrated, and always stay behind your guide.
And if you're planning for 2026, keep in mind there's a new visitor quota of 1,000 people per day. You really need to book 3 to 6 months ahead for the peak months like July to October.
Definitely. It's worth the planning, though. There is nothing like surfacing after a shotgun dive, laughing and high-fiving your buddy because you just survived the most exhilarating ride of your life.
It's a reminder of why we dive. The ocean isn't just a pretty picture. It's a living, moving, powerful system. These currents are the heartbeat of the Coral Triangle, bringing the life that makes Indonesia the global center of marine biodiversity.
Well said, Mia. Well, protecting these places means respecting that power and the delicate balance that keeps the reef so healthy.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's our surface interval for today.
Thank you for listening to IndoDiveX.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast and share it with fellow ocean lovers.
Until the next dive, keep exploring and keep protecting our ocean.